The OWCS Korea group stage starts in just a few hours, and we have only 4 teams that can make it to the Asia main event. While each team has varying levels of expectations, all of them have pressing questions that will be answered sooner rather than later. Starting in reverse alphabetical order with YETI. I have been frothing at the mouth waiting for this moment. Finally, we will get to see if Donghak will end world hunger now that he doesn't have Fielder gifting him apples like he's one of those chill cats. Well, now it is over. Remove the apple. He is going from Chio and Fielder to irony and bliss. It's not like this is the most poverty backline in the world, but there is a steep decline between Fielder and irony, to say the least. I swear he was being mind controlled by Lip on Sombra for the whole first half of 2023, and now not only does he have a value village backline, but he has to exercise free will to make plays. In all honesty, Donghak on ball could be a strength for this team, and he could go head to head with Junbin and Belasuya for sure, but as soon as he's off the wrecking wheel, he needs to exist as a real player in the lobby, or YETI's already slim chance of top 4 are cooked. Next up is one of the favorites and almost a given top 4 team, WAC. And once again, we have to ponder the tank line. Junbin and Max were heralded as the next tank gods of Overwatch and ended up looking more like Hangan and Fearful in an effort to dodge copyright laws. We know they have potential. We saw it before they joined the Shock, and we saw it after in Flash Ops. They are good players. But will they stop getting their ass beat and play ball? Literally, in Junbin's case. Just wait for a ball meta, they said. Max is actually crazy on Queen and Sigma, they said. Well, the time is now. If they ain't doing it here, they are never getting it poppin'. The best part is, we have seen Junbin whip out the ball and do movements that violate known laws of physics. So if I see him come out here and display some Newtonian physics, some F equal ma type shit, instead of 5D space-time continuum wormhole type of ball gameplay, we have to stop with it because he is finished. As for Max, he gave us nothing in Owl. If you only look at SF Shock Max gameplay, you think they signed him just to man the Bonchon chicken fryers, because it did not look like he was there to play Overwatch. We are at the point where there is nothing else to blame if it doesn't work out. This is not a Finn and Vindane backline. They have Shu and Chorong. They have quite possibly the best backline you could make ever. The excuse factory is out of business. For now, let's take a step back, calm down, and look towards the little guy. Will Vesta Crew get a map win? They are by far the least relevant team with the least experienced players, and none of them are particularly well rated. What we have here is a full-blown Penguin and Arlington, Texas situation. It could be interesting to see which players, if any, step up to make this team competitive, but I wouldn't count on it. Heading back up to the tippy top, we have Team Falcons. They are completely stacked and built for flexibility. The expectation is to win. The obvious questions are, how's the oil and gas stock market doing? And will Surmajed actually play any important matches? However, I present a far more interesting quandary. Can this team play Sombra? It might sound weird to suggest there is a hero that both Proper and Stalker are unable to play, but Proper actually looked bad, like below average on Sombra last year. And while it's true that this is a reworked, new Sombra that not even Lip has shown to be good on yet, the lack of a Sombra gene in this family is a cause for concern. Will they avoid playing Sombra entirely? And if they do, does that leave them open to a weakness in a dive mirror or against ball comps? Could this potential flaw that may or may not exist be exploited by a team like WAC? In the meantime, taking a trip back to Boblo, we have Sin Prisa Gaming. This is a consensus bottom 2 team with some fun aspects. I'm most interested to see if Aid can find consistency. He's shown flashes of greatness, but nothing really sustainable that points to anything more than a good contender's hit scan. If he can steal an upset against a team, that'd be swell. RunAway is one of the most beloved tier 2 organizations in Overwatch, and they have a lot of people rooting for them. This also means that a lot of people have furrowed brows and can't help but wonder, how Jover is it if Prophet is not on hit scan? We know that he is mechanically the equivalent of 15 critical hit cheating engines, but he is not to be trusted on Tracer or Sombra whatsoever. Hell, even his Sojourn is iffy. To make matters worse, in order to set up an Ashe or Widowmaker for success, on a lot of maps you'd probably want a strong Diva or Sigma player, but unfortunately they have just Mag. Mag, while a great player, does not want to play anything that isn't a main tank. They could dabble in some Wrecking Ball or Winston plus a hitscan comps like the Infernal did last season with MN3, but it clearly wasn't optimal, and if this meta is a similar case, they could be in big trouble. In a somewhat similar vein, we have Poker Face. Proud is yet another O2 alumni with high aspirations, but unfortunately, due to his age, he was unable to participate in OWL last season, while all the other little Timmies and contenders got to play pro in the East. Thus, we ask, how good is Proud actually? And in this segment, I'll be going over this competitive format. Someone on Poker Face needs to step up if they want a chance at the coveted top 4, and it should be Proud. Becky, of course, has pop-off moments, and Finale will be the Tracer guy, but Proud is really the X factor here. He isn't as bound to pure hitscan as Prophet, but he still has the capability to completely dominate and take over a series. Up next is one of the most interesting teams in Genesis, who have significantly more questions than answers, like what happened in Choi's life that made him have a savior complex, so that throughout shitters and bums, he alone is the goated one. And is the third time really the charm for Kellen? However, the most pressing issue has to be the double flex support backline. Teru, despite role swapping about 2 years ago, still is really only a Kiriko player, and Maka may have caught the eye of Gunba, but other than that, he hasn't done anything too exciting. Leaked scoreboards seem to indicate Teru playing Lucio, and after seeing the mass destruction players like Gangnam Jin and Krillin have caused by merely 3-2-1 amping, I cannot imagine the carnage a former DPS player is going to leave in his wake. And finally, last but not least, is From the Gamer. This roster is really solid on paper and quite flexible all around. You could question how Belosria is still playing after being called plat by Spilo, but I prefer to enjoy my day and not think too hard about Belosria at all. So instead, the question is on Flora. How will he fare in the upper echelon against Proper and Lip when competing for the top spots? I don't think he'll be a problem at all, but if they want to push through WAC and Falcons, Flora has to step up in some way. It doesn't have to be through simply winning his ones, it could be through smart play and supporting Alpha Yi on his merciless rampages through the enemy backline, or by whipping out a Tracer or Sombra, which most people severely underrate from him. And of course, if push comes to shove, he could hit the slots on Hanzo, because even though he can't one-shot anymore, 99% of Hanzos stop shooting at that one obscure angle right before the enemy peeks it. But not Flora. He knows. He's aware.